I, Lucy Makena Mukaria, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. Slight improvement, 13 minutes, not 12, 13.
Yes, Honorable Chair of this special committee, Senator Dr. Boni Khalwale, honorable members of the House, my name is Eric Murioki. I am an advocate and I will be conducting the examination of our second witness. So, kindly introduce yourself to the committee.
Thank you very much, Council, Honorable Chair, Honorable Senators. My name is Lucy Makena Mukaria. I am a nominated member of the Meru County Assembly, where I am nominated and I'm serving my second term as a nominated member. Honorable Chair.
Nominated by what party?
I am nominated by DEP party, popularly known as BAS. Honorable Chair.
Yes, through the Chair, how long have you served as a member of the County Assembly of Meru?
Honorable Chair, I have served, I'm serving my second term as a first loaded two. I first came to the County Assembly in the elections of the year 2017. But before then, I had served as a councillor, a nominated councillor in the de facto county councils, where I served in the Meru Municipal Council. Honorable Chair.
Are you familiar with the impeachment motion that is now before this House?
Yes, I am familiar with the impeachment motion because I voted to impeach and I have been following the proceedings thereafter.
So tell this honorable House about any encounters that you have had with the governor, and perhaps speak to our relationship with other leaders.
Honorable Chair, as I said earlier, I served in the second assembly as a nominated member, and that is the first time I had an encounter with the governor when she served as the women rep representing Meru, the county MP for Meru. And at that particular time, I was serving as the chair of the Women Caucus in the Assembly. So that is the first time I very, very briefly interacted with her when I approached her to be the patron of the Women Caucus in the Assembly, which she did not take up. And from that time, I have just known her to be the women rep of Meru County and also now as the governor of the Meru County Assembly.
So are you aware of any pronouncements made by the governor regarding nominated female MCAs?
Honorable Chair, I remember maybe mostly during the campaigns and shortly before the campaigns of 2022, when actually she used to refer to the nominated member as having been elected through the blankets, whatever that meant, but the connotation was that we did not get the nominations because of merit. We had other favors. And Honorable Chair, this was repeated again on the 19th of October when she forcibly came into the Assembly, where I witnessed her also again refer to some of the women MCAs and told them to go look for votes, not to always expect to be given seats through, again, the blankets. That is literally to say what she said, but this was not in good connotation, Honorable Chair, and that was actually demeaning the position of the nominated member of County Assembly. Honorable Chair.
Okay, now that you've mentioned the 19th of October, let us go to that date. What happened on that day?
Council, on the 19th of October 2022, we were all the MCAs were in the county, in the premises of the assembly, and we were busy electing chairs of the committees in the chambers. And I remember while we were still there, and actually we were waiting for the governor's address that afternoon, but before then, and while we were still at the chambers electing members in different positions, I heard around the crowd coming into the assembly, and we all rushed out to see what was happening, and only to see that the governor, followed by a crowd of around 40 to 50 people, coming into the presence of the assembly. And actually, even before I could go out completely, I was caught up at the reception, and the governor was there actually coming forcibly, wanting to get into the chambers, and she had all these people around her, and actually there was quite a lot of commotion caused at that particular time. Honorable Chair.
While you were there, what did you hear the governor say?
She actually came and got past me into the chambers, but then just in time the sergeant at arms closed the doors, and so she had to come back from the chambers, because the arrangement of the chamber is that it is quite behind the main entrance. And from there, when she came back, she found all of us, now everybody was alarmed, and we had all gone out, and most of us were crowding the reception there, and she started actually like exchanging and shouting to the MCAs and asking. I remember I personally asking her, Your Excellency, you don't have to do that. You just need to walk to the speaker's office, and the speaker will gown up and bring you to the chamber, because anyway we are expecting you. But then she started shouting now to the other ladies, asking them, well, you should go out there and look for votes. You don't always expect to be given seats under the blankets, like Honorable Chair said earlier. And before I realized, she had started walking up the ladder, up the staircase to the speaker's office. And before long, I could hear commotions at the speaker's office, and I heard actually the secretary begin to make noise because I think she was alarmed. Also later I learned that she was alarmed, and the speaker came out. Because the speaker had already gone out, he went up to the chambers, and the speaker gowned up, and the sergeant at arms escorted the governor to the chambers. Mm-hmm. Shortly before that, the sitting bell had already rang, and we had all gone into the chambers. Honorable Chair.
Yes, we are constrained for time. We only have 5 more minutes to go.
Yeah.
So, what was supposed to happen in the assembly that day, very briefly?
What was supposed to happen, the governor was supposed to give a county address, the opening address.
Did that address happen?
She was escorted to the chambers, and all the preliminaries were done, and when she took to the podium, the MCAs got out of the chambers. And
briefly, what was the governor's reaction to that MCAs walking out?
I may not know the reaction, but I think there was no quorum to address the assembly, and so she was escorted out, where she went to the speaker's office, and shortly after that she came out, got into her car, got up the sunroof of her car, and she went to the gate where she met, she was applauded, she was being applauded by a round crowd at the entrance of the County Assembly, Honorable Chair.
Now, being a female member of the County Assembly of Meru yourself, you must be aware of how many female MCAs are in the County Assembly.
Yes, the number of the women MCAs are 23, both elected by universal suffrage and those that are nominated by political parties.
The governor, in her affidavit by way of response to this impeachment motion, in paragraphs 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, alleges that her impeachment is an issue of gender, or rather she's being targeted because she is a woman. What do you say to that?
Honorable Chair, we cannot, we cannot say that the governor is being embattled because she's a woman. No, otherwise all the 23 women MCAs would not have impeached her. And we cannot reduce the unrest in Meru right now to just the issues of gender. There are serious governance issues that are being raised, and since morning, Honorable Speaker, we've been demonstrating that. And really this has nothing to do with the fact that the governor is a female. Honorable Chair, there are very serious issues.
2 more minutes.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Honorable Chair, we cannot reduce that discussion, that conversation that is really keeping the Meru people awake and that has kept this House, the Honorable Senators in this chamber since morning, to just the issues of gender. Now, the Meru County Assembly is raising very serious issues of governance, and what we feel is like, personally, I feel like the governor has lacked in the area of using her soft skills to manage the county government. And by soft skills, I mean, Honorable Chair, the lack of proper communication. We have been seeing...
So let me stop you there because you are constrained for time. Yes. Which of the 62 specific violations leveled against the governor have been leveled against her for the reason that she is a woman, to the best of your knowledge?
None at all. None at all. We have not been complaining about the governor being a woman, no.
And my last question to you, what latitude does being a woman afford the governor to breach national and county laws or provisions of the Constitution of Kenya?
Honorable Chair, the Constitution of Kenya really doesn't care whether you are a woman or a man when it comes to, doing your functions as the governor at any level, or even as a public officer at any level. The Constitution does not really care whether you are a woman, whether you are a man. You are entrusted by the people of Kenya through the Constitution and other laws to be able to act according to the laws set, regardless of whether you are female or male, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I think that concludes my exam in chief for this witness. Asante sana.
Very good. Yes. Somebody's question?
I didn't want to interfere because of time, and but I just want to caution the council from both sides. When you bring witnesses, they are here to help us with evidence. You have been cautioned time without number on the issue of asking witnesses to give us opinions. You will be disadvantaged. I just wanted to reiterate that, Chair.
Thank you. The Council for Governance, cross-examine, 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity.
Honorable Lucy Mukaria, good evening.
Very good evening, Council.
You have told this honorable committee that the governor has accused female MCAs of being nominated through the blankets.
Yes,
You have.
Council, yes.
That was not an allegation that was brought in the impeachment motion, was it?
No, I was just giving, laying a background of why I personally did not go along with her.
Okay. So you voted to impeach the governor because of an allegation that was not contained in the impeachment motion.
No.
But you did not get along with her because of those sentiments.
No, I said, Council, that I did not get along with her because of all the allegations that we have been showcasing throughout the day, Honorable Chair.
You have talked of the events of 19th of October 2022.
Yes.
Confirmed to this committee that indeed that was a gazetted day when the governor was supposed to appear and give a maiden speech to the county assembly.
Yes, it is.
Were you expecting the governor to show up?
Yes, we were expecting him in the afternoon at the 2:30 sitting of the 19th of October.
At what time did the governor enter the county assembly?
Way before 1 p.m., sorry, I repeat, way before 1 p.m., all around 1 p.m. We had not prepared to sit for the 2:30 p.m. sitting.
Let us look at paragraph 9 in your witness statement. You have accused the governor of accosting one Honorable Frida Naito.
Council, through the chair, perhaps you could share with us the page of the document you're referring to so that we can all follow.
Thank you, Honorable Senator for Nairobi. I'm referring to page 9 of volume 5 of the County Assembly's documents. I'm looking at page 5. It is the witness statements contained at volume 5 of the County Assembly's documents. Her statement appears from page 8 all the way to page 13. So I'm referring to paragraph 9 of her statement, which specifically appears at page 10. So on that page, paragraph, you accuse the governor of accosting one Frida Naito, a nominated MCA.
Yes,
correct?
Council.
Again, there has been no allegation in the impeachment motion of the governor accosting any member of county assembly, specifically Frida Naito.
Yeah, I was narrating the
It's a yes or no
occurrences.
question. It's a yes or no question. There is no specific allegation in the impeachment motion where the governor is being accused of accosting any member of the county assembly.
Yes.
There is none. And the said Frida Naito has not in any way filed an affidavit or a witness statement to that effect that she was ever accosted by the governor.
No, this was my witness statement,
There has
so it
been-
is me who saw that.
It is you saw that.
Yes.
But the person who was accosted has not taken time to accuse the governor of that.
Yes. She's not a witness in this case.
You also confirmed that you were not one of the witnesses presented before the county assembly to support the impeachment motion.
There was no requirement for witness at the assembly.
You did
and
not.
the answer is no.
The answer is no, thank you. Look at paragraph 10 of your witness statement again. You accuse the governor of scaring off the secretary. You've actually told this committee that you sensed that there was some cause for alarm at the speaker's office.
Yes.
Again, the impeachment motion did not contain any allegations of the governor ever threatening anyone at the county assembly, specifically the secretary of the speaker?
Again, counsel, this is my witness that I have sworn under oath. So these are the occurrences that I saw, and so the answer is no.
Has the secretary filed any notice, any affidavit? Or
Not that I am aware of,
Not
counsel.
that you're aware of. You've also claimed that your car...
Order. You've made your point. Take your seat. Counsel for the County Assembly. Procedure rule number 20. Why have you brought here Mrs. McKenna to speak to a matter that is not in any of the charges? Please, if you have a similar witness coming, serve us the time. We don't want to appear like we are blocking you, but you can see clearly the things she's speaking to are not before this House.
We are guided, Chair, but if you read the impeachment motion, you note that it says the specific matters listed are just illustrative examples of a long-going campaign of vilification and humiliation of other leaders, and if we had sought to prove all of them, we would have brought to you a litany of hundreds of incidents. Our thinking, which we may be right or wrong, was that having clustered the allegations, we only needed to illustrate to you by the examples stated in the motion. But the governor had noticed from the motion itself that the matter, the specific incidents given are expressly indicated as illustrative examples of a long-ranging campaign against other leaders. But I can confirm, Chair, the other witnesses won't even delve in that direction.
Yes, that is a good assurance. Poor us. How do we convince the governor that he's going through a fair process? If your witness is giving an account of when the governor was a member of the National Assembly, what has it got to do with these proceedings? Please take your seat, sir. Thankwa.
Yeah, Chair, maybe to help the council, because the process of removing a governor from office through impeachment, first they go through the motion. After the motion, the assembly forms a committee to investigate all the allegation, to investigate what was illustrative, as he mentioned. So that means that's when those people who have been mentioned should appear or could have appeared before the committee. So the question is, did Honorable Lucy, and for a moment I thought the Honorable Governor was giving evidence against herself, they somehow look alike. But what I wanted to mention is that did they appear before that committee? If they did not appear before that committee, Chair, then this is a goose chase.
He did not. He has even said it from the witness stand. We were just being patient. We don't want to look unfair. So, Madam McKenna, thank you so much for making time to make the presentation you just did. You are now free to step down,
Chair.
from the witness.
Chair.
Honorable Chair,
Just a minute, members. We will hear the council there, then I'll come and rule.
Chair, please don't release her. There's something I want to...
Yes. Honorable Chair, I also want to make a similar submission that the witness is testifying on the other ground of forcible entry into the assembly. It is not purely the issue of the vilification of nominated MCAs. And to respond to what...
You're saying the next witness?
No, this witness is also if you read a witness statement, it also speaks to the allegation of forcible entry into the assembly. So it is not true that the witness is only testifying about the issue of vilification of nominated MCAs.
Okay,
that is one.
Point is made.
I have a second
yes.
issue that I want to raise, Honorable Chair. in response to what Senator Karungo Dangwa said, you will note from Standing Order number 65 of the County Assembly of Meru Standing Orders, there is no committee that is formed to investigate or to consider the impeachment motion. So there was no committee before which all these witnesses could appear before to investigate the impeachment motion. That is not the procedure. The procedure is that once the motion is tabled, it undergoes public participation, and finally the House in plenary considers the impeachment motion. There is no committee at any stage whatsoever.
Thank you. So going forward, let me help you. When the County Assembly of Meru is sitting in plenary, it's a committee. It's called the Committee of the Whole. So that is the committee to which this witness would have appeared. To be fair to both of you, she did not appear before the Committee of the Whole. Yeah. Yes, Edwin?
Chair, with due respect, you know, she is a member of that committee that you're talking about. It would be tough for her to appear before herself, but the guidance I wanted to give the committee, we are already at an advanced stage with her. The cross-examination was just about to end. I don't think that, yes, just a minute, Chair. We as a committee will determine the value of the testimony that he has given, but at the stage at which we have reached, I think it's only fair that if he has concluded, you allow counsel to re-examine. Then, Chair, we have a few questions we will pose to her. One each, not too long.
Counsel, are you concluding?
I have two more questions, Honorable Chair. One is that...
you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Were you present when the governor sought to address the County Assembly on the 18th of October? Were you present at the chambers?
On the 18th
Yes,
of October?
On the 19th, sorry. 19th of October.
I was present at the assembly, yes.
You were?
Yes.
So you were part of the team that walked out on the governor, protesting?
Yes, I walked out.
You walked out?
Yes.
So you were protesting against the governor. Have you brought any evidence as to why the MCAs were protesting against the governor?
Come again with that question.
Have you produced any evidence of your grievances that caused you to walk out on the governor?
I must say that that was spontaneous. It wasn't planned at all. When the governor walked into the press seat of the assemblies forcibly, and there was all this commotion around that, the reaction was we just could not continue with that. We could not pretend that all is well and just wait there. And I think for me, that's what I felt like, oh, I don't think I need to be here. So yes, I walked out.
Are you aware that the previous day, the Speaker of Meru County Assembly and other members of County Assembly had threatened not to listen to the governor unless she addresses the issue of the ward fund?
Nothing about the ward fund, but I think when the Speaker told us at Kamukunji that the governor has not been picking his calls and that he has really tried to get the attention of the governor, and I think again, the governor was to address the assembly the following day, and this is now, we have waited for more than 2 weeks for the governor to have a conversation with us, and he was not able to do that. She was not able to do that, and the Speaker had reached out to her several times, and when the Speaker so frustrated, like told us the governor is not picking her calls, and whenever he goes to the office, he was not meeting her there. I think again spontaneously people lost it and went out singing. It was evident that we did that.
So there was a Kamukunji to discuss the governor's maiden speech and to discuss whether she should be allowed to deliver that speech.
No, the Kamukunji was not about that. We were also concerned that the governor is coming to address us, and we have been asking her to plan what is it that we want to, do as both arms of the government. And she had promised to come and talk to us. We were, we wanted to discuss with her. It is only fair that when you are leading an institution like a county, you will sit together with the other leaders to discuss issues moving forward on how you want to govern together in unity and collaboration. But when that failed to happen, then I think spontaneously again we went out. That's the time Kenyans saw us going out singing. But again, we had no idea of what she was coming to discuss in the assembly, so we could not sit to discuss or preempt whatever she was coming to say.
Thank you. So you did not know what the governor was coming to present?
No, we did not.
Maiden speech?
Yes.
You would have wished the governor to discuss the content of her speech before it was presented. That is what you're saying in the committee?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
But you were not aware of the content, therefore you would not allow a chance to deliver that speech. That's what you've just said.
No, I said it was spontaneous. Nobody had planned to preempt what the governor was coming to say.
Final question.
Yes, sir.
You say that the speaker called for that Kamkunji to discuss that issue. Does the speaker speak for elected members of county assembly?
The speaker convenes. I think it's a practice in parliament that a speaker would always convene people together. It's normally called the speaker's Kamkunji to discuss emerging issues. And so that's exactly what was happening. No pre-plan.
Did anyone petition the speaker to call for that Kamkunji on the emerging issues, as you call them?
I am not in the leadership, but I think there was this pressure to really sit and discuss things.
That is all for this witness, Honorable Chair.
Tobiko.
Thank you, Chair.
With Glovo, you have anything you want from your
Nkubu.
Let's
using the same method.
Let's
This is
do
the third
the
video.
Nkubu one.
Nkubu is the one that has been played.
Let's do the one for KNJ. KNJ chair is Annex 8, and the transcript for that video is to be found at pages 79 to 81 of volume 1.
Ndawanka menyera mbia chienu ndakaja kana kamesho ndirawira manto ya miru modani nampeta ume ningweta nambere kuromba tutongerie miru mtotavo madhome njeti ruwe one ruwe njeti ng'ambe one ng'ambe katika jina la Yesu. Bwana asifiwe. Eliarende na intobi bingende tete. Lakini ndorendete intobi.
I mean that the governor says nominated members whether of whatever house are nominated through the blanket.
I'm not trying to incite Honorable Senator, but severally she has said
Are
that.
you engaging in what we call in the women's circles PhD, pull her down?
No, Honorable Senator. I have been in the movement, the women empowerment movement for close to 20 years today, and it was always about, my quest was always about building other women.
It has always been said, out there that women are their own enemies. Are you really trying to prove this, to have come and taken that stand today?
No, Honorable Senator, I cannot do
I have
that.
no further questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sifuna.
Yeah, I had hoped that we would allow council to go first because that's the tradition we had established. But
since we are already there,
I can proceed.
You finish. Then we shall
Yes,
give him an opportunity.
I'm very happy, Mheshimiwa Makena, that you've said that you've been in the women movement for a very long time. And that basically makes me confident that you know all the things that have been said about women in leadership and the challenges that have been faced. I want you to tell me, is it the position that in fact women cannot exercise gender bias against their own fellow women? Is that the position of a gender movement or your position? Is it possible, given our own historical and cultural problems in various communities, is it possible for a woman to exercise bias against another woman because she's a woman?
No, that would be wrong judgment.
Is it possible?
I don't think we've come of age as women movement really, and we are looking into issues, and never the gender can't.
But you are aware in certain communities, in certain places, just Senator Tobiko has expressed it herself. It has been said, and surely as a person in that movement for all that time, it has been said, and I'm sure you've heard it, that women are sometimes their own worst enemies. When that is said, isn't it evidence that in fact in certain instances it is possible for me as a man to exercise gender bias against a fellow man just because he's a man? It is possible.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Senators.
Just yes or no. Is it possible or not? I'll move on.
I don't think it is possible right now. We have come of age as a as a society, and I think we.
My last question to you. You know, I wear many hats. I am also the SG of a party. What do you understand to be the role of this nomination slots? What do you understand? Why did we come up with these nomination slots? What purpose are they supposed to serve?
To give a gender perspective and voice to the decision-making table.
And in terms of growing leadership?
Yeah, also to give us an opportunity to showcase our prowess and maybe our leadership.
So was it intended that it is going to be a tool that is used to nominate people in perpetuity? What I want you to address the question of the growing of the capacity of the people who were nominated. What was the ultimate aim?
To give women an opportunity to grow their capacity to be able to take leadership positions.
And ultimately run for office themselves. That's what I want you to say.
Yes.
So that you cannot be nominated in perpetuity.
Well, yeah.
Thank you.
It is it is only fair that we say that it is to grow to grow the capacity of women into leadership. They can get to that leadership positions either as appointees. We have seen women who have come from being nominated to become even.
Makena,
yes,
I'm just
Senator.
saying, these nomination slots have a purpose of serving.
Yes.
They're supposed to grow you when you're nominated once, to grow your capacity, your political and financial muscle, your connections and networks.
Yes.
For you to now be able to run for the seat and create another opportunity for somebody else to be nominated. Is it fair for that movement for you to be nominated in perpetuity? That's the question I want you to answer. Is it a simple yes or no?
It's not against the law.
Thank you, Chair. Further to what Senator Sifuna is asking the Honorable Lucy. Honorable Lucy, I presume you're familiar with Article 27 of the Constitution that heavily deliberates on discrimination. And as a second-term nominated MCA, by extension a beneficiary of the aforementioned article, of which I'm a beneficiary like myself, would you say that Governor Mwangaza has had the time or fair chance to materialize her manifesto from which the electorate can judge?
Yeah, I think there is no period unto which the provisions of law are suspended. And what we have been talking about since morning is the fact that there is some provisions of the law that have been not followed duly. And so there is no, again, an excuse to controversies Honorable Senator, when somebody can be given time to make more mistakes, I mean, and just get away with it. So what we've been demonstrating here is the fact that, like I first said, that the governor has not been able to use her soft skills of communication, of teamwork. That's the discussion. It has really nothing to do with her as a person or as the governor of Meru County government. It is about what has not happened and what has happened in excess.
You've made your point, Madam McKenna.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Honorable Lucy. In your affidavit, paragraph 9, that is found on page 10, you say that having failed to force their way into the chamber, the governor and the rowdy mob turned and walked towards the reception. At the reception, the governor accosted Honorable Frida Naito.
Yes, Senator.
Is, in your best understanding, Honorable Frida Naito aware that she was accosted?
Yes, she was aware.
Okay.
Yes.
And in your best understanding, why do you think that Honorable Frida Naito is not appearing before us?
Honorable,
to illustrate that fact.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, I swore this affidavit on oath just to demonstrate the misconduct around entering forcibly into the press seat of the assembly.
That's
wasn't
not my
really
question.
more about, it wasn't specifically about...
Order, Lucy.
Yes, Senator.
That's not my question.
Yes.
I understand that. You've sworn this affidavit and understand why you've sworn it. My question is, in your understanding, why do you think Honorable Frida Naito hasn't appeared before us to illustrate the fact that she was accosted?
This Honorable Senator was my affidavit, so I was talking about the things that I saw in hand, and so maybe if Honorable Frida Naito is called upon to come and testify here in this Honorable House and to this Honorable Committee, maybe she could.
Okay, the last follow-up, Chair, if you don't mind. In one of your remarks today here, you indicated, and I'll quote or paraphrase, that in your view, maybe all these troubles of the governor is because she lacks soft skills. Did you say that?
Yes, I said that, Senator.
So are you suggesting that the governor has not offended the people of Meru County with regards to legality, but instead she has offended the people of Meru with regards to interpersonal relations between her and other members of the leadership of the county?
Honorable Chair, we have been demonstrating to this Honorable House the whole morning about the illegalities and the atrocities that the governor committed. I was just bringing a parallel on the soft skills, just to say if she had used, apathy, if she would have used teamwork, if she had used proper communication channels, we could not be where we are today. But the part of legality and illegality has really been extensively demonstrated in this House this afternoon. Today.
Understood.
Yes, sir.
Just wait for me. In terms of legality issues and in terms of interpersonal skills problems that the governor might have, which one do you find outweighing the other? In your own opinion.
I wouldn't weigh them one over the other. I would really look at them concurrently.
Okay.
And say, has she committed atrocities? Has she committed illegalities? I say yes. Has she not been able to use the soft skills that I am alluding to? I say yes to both.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Back to you, Chair.
Very well. So, witness, thank you very much for coming.
Excuse me.
The chair reserves the right to continue.
Yes, he does.
Can you relax completely? Colleagues, can we relax? We have time to manage. After midnight, the time is not ours. Yes, Marua?
No, mine was very briefly, Chair, because in her affidavit, Honorable McKenna, you state that you saw the governor leading around a group of around 50 people advancing towards the assembly chamber.
Yes, Senator.
They passed me forcefully and headed towards the assembly chamber. Do you have evidence to this, what you saw, or to support what you saw? Because then in the absence of evidence, whatever you've stated here would be anecdotes, there would be circumstantial evidence. Why do you want us to believe us that you saw this?
Yes, Honorable Chair, in the morning that clip was of the governor entering the precinct of the assembly forcibly was played, Honorable Chair.
Yeah,
and
that is coming to the assembly, but going to the chamber, because this is towards assembly chamber, they passed you. We want to see the governor and his about 50 people passing you forcibly. Do you have that video where you can observe that?
If the whole clip was played, and maybe with the advice of the chair and our lead counsel, if it was played, there was that bit where the governor was getting into the chamber with a round crowd around her. And in any other time that this can be...
And did you see yourself in that video?
No, you can't see me in that video. I wouldn't also recognize myself in that particular video, because we were so many of us, really. The only distinct person
your
who
point is made.
Thank you.
Madam, point is made.
Thank you, Chair. In the County Assembly of Meru, do we have nominated male MCAs?
Yes, we have 2 nominated males.
Have they been accused of being nominated under the blankets?
I have not heard about that, Honorable Senator.
Okay. Mr. Chair, if you read the standing orders of Meru County Assembly about the governor's address to the Assembly, that is section 24(2), when delivering an address to the Assembly, the governor shall be heard in silence, and the address shall not be followed by any comment or question. So the question to the Honorable MCA, does that mean you are acting in contravention of your own standing orders? When the governor starts speaking, all of you move out singing and chanting.
Honorable Chair, I said earlier that this was a reflex action. It was actually spontaneous. It wasn't pre-planned that people should go out. And I think the happenings around there overwhelmed everybody, and I think this was just a reaction that people went out.
And finally, the Honorable Frida Naito, which party does she belong to?
She's nominated by the UDA party.
UDA party.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Chair. McKenna.
Yes, Senator.
You are a nominated member.
Yes, sir.
And we understand that you said that the governor accused the nominated members that they got their nominations from the bracket.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it?
Yes.
Could it be true that could that one have formed the basis of you supporting other elected members to impeach the governor?
That actually, Honorable Chair, Honorable Senators, is not in our motion. I was just using that illustration to lay a background. And I remember it is the council who had asked me whether I have interacted with the Honorable Governor earlier. So that was actually to just lay a background, but it also surfaced again on the 19th of October when she told this to one of us, the Honorable Frinda Naito, in my hearing, Honorable Senator.
My last question.
Yes, sir.
Is there a point whereby the Meru MCAs have demanded money from the governor?
Not that I am aware of.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council?
Yes, Chair. I wanted to point out that we have not conducted our re-exam, and actually the cross-examination has lasted way longer than the examination in chief.
Yeah, that's what we have noticed, unfortunately. Yes. But we shall manage time better.
Yes.
So take your chance now.
Yes, humbly, Chair, I request that you give us a bit more of time so that we can respond to all the issues that were raised in cross-exam. You were asked whether those insults against the female nominated MCAs form part of the motion. To the best of your knowledge, are these insults a part of a wider vilification campaign against leaders?
Yes, because evidently when you tell a nominated MCA that they have been given their seat through, under the blankets, that is vilification at its best, Honorable Chair.
The governor put in her response to the impeachment motion tabled before this House. Have you had an opportunity to look at that response by the governor?
Yes.
Now, this issue of gender, has been raised by the governor herself in paragraphs 3, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. What is your response to the fear that the gender card is being used against the governor when you consider that the governor herself raises this issue in her response to the motion?
Council, I think the governor would be very insincere. She's not sincere in saying that we have come this far because of because she's a woman and because she is a woman, and it would be really very insincere because the issues that we have been raising have nothing really to do with they have nothing to do with whether the accused is a female or a male. They are serious violations of law.
What issues in the motion
Council, I don't want to look like I'm denying you time, yes, but the meaning of what you're going through, you want to respond to the issues that were raised by the governor's lawyers during cross-examination. The matter you are the matter you are now prosecuting was an observation by one of the senators. They are not counsels to you.
All right. The governor's advocates put it to you that your witness statement does not address any issues that are raised in the impeachment motion. In follow-up, what issues raised in the impeachment motion does your witness statement speak to?
They speak to the forceful entrance to the precinct of the assembly.
Anything else?
That is all that is at the top of my mind right now.
All right. You are also asked
help us. During the alleged forceful entry into the county assembly, it is evidence in this hearing that gazettement was there, date was appointed, the governor went there in accordance with the due process. And upon reaching there, the people who broke the law were the MCAs, because they went against standing order number 60, number 60, number 24, where they were expected, council, to sit in silence and listen to the governor. Instead, they walked out and started singing. So in this case, who broke the law?
Honorable Chair.
Help us.
Yes, I'm trying to help you, Honorable Chair.
Yes.
There is what triggered that's an inordinary action by the members of the assembly. You have to consider the full context. What happened that caused the MCAs to react in such a manner? And this witness has actually spoken to that. She has said they were, rather, maybe I could ask the witness to repeat what they were doing and what happened and what made them react that way. Because she has repeated several times that the actions, the inordinary actions of the MCAs were a reaction to a trigger. So she has said that they were in the house electing committee chairs, they heard noises, and then they went out to investigate. And Chair, I do not want to sound like I'm speaking on behalf of the witness, which is why I'm asking your permission to ask the witness to repeat that part, because it seems it has not sunk in well.
Hansard hears everything, so we'll have a time to replay it and so on. Don't let it worry you. You may proceed.
All right.
1 minute, council. Yes, point of order.
When Chair pronounces himself to the fact that there was an illegality with disregard to standing order, I think council is consulting. Council, is there provision that in any eventuality that anything happens, then that standing order can be suspended? I think that's what the chair is ultimately getting to. Is there a provision that whether it's an excuse for mischief or an excuse for absolute reason that can suspend that particular standing order?
Yes, through the chair, I don't know whether the Honorable Senator wants me to address a question that was not raised in cross-examination, but if he does, then through the witness, through the chair, I will pose the question to the witness. Was the governor entitled to come to the precincts of the assembly with a crowd or a mob of goons, and in the manner that the governor came to the precincts of the assembly?
Actually, no, council. The assembly had gazetted the sitting on the 19th of October for the governor to come and address the assembly at 2:30 p.m. This is way before 1 p.m. and we are going about other duties that was before us. We were transacting other businesses in the chambers, and then we had a commotion. Ordinarily, and I said I have had an opportunity to serve in the second assembly, where the governor then addressed the assembly 5 times. There is no time the governor comes with a round crowd to the president of the assembly to address the assembly. There must have been something that was wrong with the whole arrangement. So the governor comes way before the expected time and comes with a crowd. He is not even driving through to the assembly. She is walking from the gate. I mean, those are not ordinary things that were happening that particular time. And so again, I said, Honorable Chair, Senators, that the members walking out on the governor was just spontaneous. The way somebody would wonder, the things that happened in a brief moment, like a 30-minute session, and everything was going wrong because it was wrong at the start. Honorable Chair.
Now, you are asked by the Governor's Council that the previous day, the Speaker and Honorable MCAs had made pronouncements to the effect that they would not listen to the Governor unless she approved the word fund. And my question is, as a nominated MCA, what interests do you have in that word fund? And perhaps you can answer it along with the question of whether that issue of the word fund is an issue that has been raised in this impeachment motion.
No, and Honorable Chair, with or without the word fund, I would just continue with my assignment at the Assembly. So it isn't really beneficial to me as a nominated member. Honorable Chair, the issue of the word fund was dispensed about by the control of budget long way before even this impeachment motion was written. So it is actually not subject matter in this particular motion. And actually, I think that matter has already rested.
All right. My last question to you, through the chair, is Council asked you whether you walked out by preempting, or rather you wanted to know what the Governor was coming to say at the Assembly. Was that, as you called it, spontaneous action of MCAs walking out in any way connected with whatever the Governor was coming to say at the Assembly?
No, I think it is our confidence at that point that was eroded, because we were expecting all along. We had not even sat with our governor to chat way forward. Ordinarily, a governor and an elected MCAs would sit together to plan. And this is what we were asking to do. But when the governor was not available, I think this is what triggered most of the reactions that was seen, Honorable Chair.
Sorry, follow-up clarification on that. Specifically, on that day, what triggered that walking out? Just speak more clearly to what triggered that walking out.
Is this the 19th? Or,
yes,
or the
that is the 19th of October when when the MCAs, as you said, walked out
on the
protest.
Governor?
Yes.
Yeah, as I said, that was again the happenings that were, whatever was happening around that particular time, when the Governor forcibly got into the office, into the Assembly. There were all these strangers around the Assembly, and all that is what actually made the MCAs not want to sit and listen to the Governor.
Chairman.
It was actually nothing to do with the preempting. We were not even aware of whatever she was coming to speak to us about.
Chair.
And actually, Chair, it will be good to know that she wasn't only coming to address the MCAs, she was also coming to address the whole county. And so it is only fair that at least she should have, met the Speaker and the House leadership to be able to chat way forward. I mean, these are some of the soft skills I was talking about, like that teamwork was not seen around that time.
That marks the end of my re-exam, unless any of my team members as a question that you haven't asked. Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, Honorable Senators.
Welcome for this, the wealth of information that has opened up some further understanding. Yes, Funa?
Chair, I'm just wondering, because the witness is telling this committee that the trigger, the word the council is using, was the happenings prior. Why, if they didn't want to listen to her, why did they go into the chambers in the first place? They knew that was the business of the day. Why not just after what had happened outside, just not go into the chamber? Because that tells me that that was not the trigger. They went in, sat in through the preliminaries. Immediately the governor started her address. They walked out in synchrony. I'm just wondering, Mheshimiwa Makena, why not just not go into the chamber? Because these things happened prior to the afternoon sitting.
Yeah, I think we were all set to go to the chamber at first. And we went to the chambers. But just that trigger of the things that were happening around us is what made us walk out. So it wasn't pre-planned at all, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much.
Chair.
Wait a minute. Members, you'll bear with us. I'm sure the County Assembly attorneys, you might be wondering why this so much pressure on you. It's because it is your case now. Tomorrow, the shoe will be on the other foot, and you'll see the difference. So you have to prove your case. Senators, because of time constraints.
Chair, this is of national importance.
Okay.
Chair, I will not even particularly go to this particular witness now. But my thinking, I repeat, I have always thought that the county governments and what happens at the county assemblies, the county executives, is a replica of the national at the lower level. And because Kenyans are watching these proceedings live, it will be good for Kenyans to understand what goes on at the county assemblies so that we all help to streamline our devolution process. Chair, my thinking is that usually at the national, the day the president is coming to give the State of the Nation address is gazetted. And all members will be here. Those, whether of different parties, whether you are of the same persuasion with the president or not, all members will be seated by this time to listen to the president. And although the president will be addressing the nation from parliament precincts, he is actually addressing the whole nation. And so, for the governor may be coming to address the county at the county assembly, precincts, but yes, the governor is addressing the entire county. So the interest of members of the public will be there. Chair, I just wanted to put that for the record.
The point, yes. My Vice Chair.
Chair, thank you. I wanted to ask Mheshimiwa, because she's saying that they didn't have any plans of walking out on the governor, and yet the previous day they had a kamukunchi, which had been called, and which they discussed about how the governor was not communicating with the speaker. And here again you turn and you say there was no plans of walking out on her, and yet you said that triggered the walking out of it. And again, if I say that your communication with the governor when she was the woman rep of Meru, and she did not acknowledge or accept what you requested her to do, is what is pushing you to act like this. Will I be wrong?
You probably may not be right, Honorable Senator, Honorable Chair, because this is over 5 years ago. I think we have moved on, so it has nothing to do with that. That one, I used it to lay a background whether I knew the governor prior to now or not. And I said, I was also saying that to give more flesh to what I'm saying, I'm talking about communication, I'm talking about teamwork and all that. Your second question, your first question was whether this was not pre-planned. Yes, Honorable Chair, the previous day, that was on the 18th, what happened, happened. But then here again, very quickly, we came back to the assembly, wanting to listen to the government. And you know, we are the ones that had gazetted this particular day. There is no way we would go against our own day. So we came, and we were hoping that things have calmed down and that we are going to listen to the governor, and it's okay, let her address us and all that. But then the way the conduct of how she came to the assembly again showed us that even her refusal to listen to us and to talk to us and to plan with us was deliberate. That is actually what the reaction was about at that particular time, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much. Since the Mr. Kyogora is not in plenary, I can't see him in gallery. You're the only MCA here. Watch out. Standing orders are everything. You better not break your standing orders. One of these days you will kill each other. In Wajir, people almost died because they didn't want to respect standing orders. In Nakuru, the same. So, in your own interest, respect the standing orders.
We stand guided.
Thank you so much. I now invite you, Council, to bring in the next witness. You are stepped down. Thank you for coming. Next witness.
Chair, we have two more witnesses. The one coming next is Father Elias Kinoti.
Next witness.
As he comes, Chair, he will be examined by my learned friend, Mr. Boniface Mawira.